Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Goose Garage. It's about 28 degrees right now. It snowed some last night and today it melted most of it. I wanted to show you something while you could still kind of see what I'm talking about. With it this cold, this car looks completely different than it did this summer. What I mean by that is it's straight right now. If not perfect, but it's closer to 95-98%. But during the summer, it's closer to about 85 to 90%. It gets worse during warm weather. I did all the body work on this car with it this cold. That may not make any sense to you. You may say that that's stupid as hell. It don't work that way. But it does. If you do body work on something when it's cold, well, things expand and contract. And when you do body work when it's 20 degrees outside, which you're not supposed to do, but that's when I had to do it, so it looks good in 20 degrees. Then it warms up, and suddenly you can see things that weren't there when you did it. If I had did all the blocking and sanding on this car in 80 degree weather and painted it, it would look worse now than it does during the summer. I had to paint this car when I painted it. There was no waiting for warmer weather. It looks pretty good right now. This is just a little something I wanted to mention because, you know, people have their opinions, and at car shows, people voice their opinions. It does make a difference if you do body work on when you did the body work. It makes a difference. If it's cold when you get something ready to paint, it's not going to look as good when it's hot outside. And if it's hot when you get something ready to paint, it's not going to look as good during the winter. But nobody ever looks at them during the winter. They only ever look at these cars during the summer. So right now, it's looking pretty good, but nobody's here to see it. It's just something I wanted to mention. All right, back to this. I wanted to show you something. The reason I put struts on this car is beforehand, if you tried to go up this hill with it cold and just a little bit of snow on the ground, so it's a little bit wet. If you tried to do that before, you'd have got stuck in no time. It's trying to spin. It's got ball tires. It's got every right to. But it kept going. It goes so much better with these struts on it. I mean, night and day difference. I want to show you something. I made that color out of a couple that weren't the right color. A light blue, a bunch of black, and some other ones I had. The whole car is going to be that color, which is kind of honestly more of that. Good enough. I know it's a different shade, but it looks better than what this would look if I left it red. So I wanted to talk about this too. This video is full of stuff I want to talk about for a minute. A few years ago, we had a PT Cruiser. It's the one that I did that little video on taking the head off and doing a valve job and putting it back. That car had a burned valve. During the time that it had the burned valve, if it was idling on 3 cylinders. If you ran Berryman B12 in it, it ran on 4 cylinders. Now I don't know what that did. It made a car that was down enough on compression that it ran on 3 cylinders, run on 4 when there was a bottle of Berryman in the gas tank. So I don't know what was doing what, but that's what it was doing. When that convertible Metro of mine first started running on 2 cylinders, I could put a bottle of Berryman in it and it would pick up the 3rd cylinder. Now this car, I say that for this. Now this car isn't missing, but it does have a lot less compression than it should have across all 3 cylinders. Has a lot of blow-by. It runs, but it doesn't run as good as it should. So I just did a little bit of an experiment. I bought a bottle of AutoZone branded, the same thing, basically. Shop line fuel injector cleaner. I didn't make it a mile away and the car got louder and it started running better. Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference between the exhaust earlier in this video and now, but it is louder, and seat of the pants, it is running a lot better. It's running about like my red car does. It's making a little bit more blow by. I can tell that right now because I can smell it more, but it's running better. So if that means I can run that a half a bottle, all I did was put a half a bottle in a full tank. If I could get by with running that half a bottle every tank and it makes the car run better, well, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm sure you've probably heard the saying, the candle that burns twice as bright lasts but half as long. Well, you know, admittedly, when you run something in your gas that does actually make a difference, it runs hotter. And when it runs hotter, it might end up burning an exhaust valve. I don't think it will. That's really not the problem. The exhaust seems to have gotten louder because suddenly it's got a little more compression because it's firing quicker, it's firing hotter. That's what I assume. I'm not a chemist or educated all that much, but I can tell you that sometimes when you have lower compression than you should have, if you're running Berryman or similar, Seafoam, anything like that, they seem to run better. And it's not necessarily that it cleans the fuel injector. I'm sure it's probably doing that, but that's not what I'm noticing. It's more pungent, more potent, you know, punches harder. All right, one more thing. What is that, 5? I don't know, I lost count. This video's got a bunch in it. For the 3% of you that made it to the end of the video, hit that like button. If you usually are subscribed to me, make sure you still are. Let's talk about Ford 2.3 liters. That's actually in a 97 Mazda 2300. I put rings in this one, bearings, gasket seals. I want to mention this because of there's a couple different mindsets, and they seem to like to watch my videos sometimes, and that's fine. I always say, if you learn anything, even if it's the wrong way to do something, you can still learn something. I used to have a different mindset than this when I was younger. I always used to like to get the best gasket sets and the best rings and the best bearings. But after an incident a couple years ago with a Saturn Vue engine, I realized that brand means nothing. You might as well get the cheapest one you can get and check everything and hope that it's fine. Because if you go by brand, you're buying the same junk as if you bought the cheaper stuff. Just my opinion. You can tell me yours. In the next video, I'm going to finish putting this engine together, put it in the truck, and see how it runs. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.